Hey, you. Thanks so much for tuning in to Applegate's EDGEcast, powered by ExitZero Communications. Today, we want to turn on your thinking about ways to use events to maximize profit in your lives or business. We'll examine forensic deep dives and explore behind the curtains to learn tools and techniques and to see what's inside the art and science of profitable and productive event management. The fun part for me is I'll be joined by friends I've met because of events. I'll be interviewing cool, smart, successful business and creative people with the hope for those who invest their time in ExitZero moving forward is that you'll use what you've learned to create your own first or next business or event success story. In this way, I'll be able to Jane it forward. Some basics about the show as we move forward, I call them show rules, but it's designed as a 45 to 1 hour weekly conversation among friends. Now, today, of course, I'm alone because this is the first show. And I just want to tell you a little bit more about why we're doing the show here at ExitZero and what you might expect of it as we move forward. So guests must agree to not take themselves too seriously. If truly providing a good service, event planning can get really raw sometimes. And so, I wanted the project to be natural and I wanted to be, again, raw because I want you to know that producing events can be very exhausting but fulfilling at the same time. And it's when, again, providing that good service that really impacts the quality of the event. All topics will be explored through my personal success filter or process called Applegate's Edge, in that we energize your vision and intentionally design and grow strategies that will elevate your business. All episodes will be recorded and available to download at www.businesseventpro.com and enjoy by viewing or listening in perpetuity. The podcast is a way to share what I've learned. When we help you become successful, we're successful. And that's a win for us. And hopefully you too will Jane it forward. I've been consulting with businesses of all kinds over the years and lucky enough to have produced many communication projects, plaque die awards, community events, job fairs, trade show experiences, among other projects and programs. And I've even created the largest event of its kind in the nation in terms of art events and a maker fair to serve the maker community. Well, I'm super excited as there's a shift in the air. After my own personal COVID pivot, ongoing mentorship with Sage Management, who's a global leader in virtual event production for speakers, authors, coaches, influencers, course creators, and knowledge brokers. I realized I have a ton of knowledge and experience to share and love mentoring. So I'm bursting at the seams because I've decided to also teach what I've learned about business consulting and profitable event management the hard way by doing it for over 35 years. I'm now driven to share the decades of experience inside the art and science of profitable and productive event management. It's about, learning fun, effective ways to help your budget and your event and your project be on target and on budget. The goal is to not only then utilize, but also to teach about proven and emerging tools and techniques for creating events that grow membership, they'll increase sales, they'll provide product education or celebrate employee members or be profitable in some other way. So what are your goals? Are you thinking about virtual? Well, let's talk, because we can expose your event to more people and might even be more profitable for you. So for my entire life, I've worked to do good and have, worked on advancing other people's missions, dreams, goals, etc. And I'm known as a good curator, a convener, and a good community builder. Well, now I'm focusing on doing well in order to do good in a bigger way. My hope for those of you who invest their time with ExitZero moving forward is that you will use what you've learned with me to create your own business and event success stories. In this way, I'll be able to Jane it forward and grow my footprint and lifetime ripple effect. A few fun facts about me. I really hate the words I and me, but have found that sales are the necessary evil required for producing service. So it's kind of like that in a way, in that I and me are necessary evils for getting to we. So bear with me as we chat today. My given name is Jane Marie, but for some reason was nicknamed Jamie. Still to this day, we don't really know why, but my acronym is, or excuse me, my monogram is JAM, which I love because it speaks to the love of music that I have. But bottom line is I answer to many names. So I'm here for you, whatever name you want to use. I'm the youngest of 5 kids in 6 years. All of my siblings were good athletes, multi-sport athletes. I was too lazy to actually go and practice on a regular basis, but then I had the chance to meet all the cool people in the crowd who weren't the athletes. So I think that that's what led to my interest in learning about new people and being open-minded to what they bring to the table, whatever the table may be. So yeah, so in terms of my family, again, I'm kind of the black sheep of the family. I'm sort of a creative. All of my siblings are very, very successful at what they do, as am I, but it's in a different vein. And so a funny aside to that is I actually went to an event a few summers ago where I had the opportunity to meet the former creative director for Sony Animation. And we traded his black sheep hat for some project material that I had taken with me and shared. And the purpose of their project was they were crossing the country exploring what is creativity. How is it created? Are people born with it? Can they develop it? Can they learn it, et cetera? And I just thought that was so interesting project that they were working on. And it was also cool because they were driving in Willie Nelson's bus. And I had the opportunity to kind of hang out in the bus with the crew for a while. So that was kind of fun. But anyway, then on the following day, I was back in Louisville, Kentucky for a Rise of the Revolution event at which Steve Case, the founder of AOL, awarded thousands of dollars in venture capital to a startup business with the hope that building infrastructure outside Silicon Valley would continue to help the tech industry grow, because of course they're limited by real estate basically on the Northwest coast. So anyway, I digress. Some other loves: I love to garden. It's a lot like mentoring in that it heals my soul to get my hands dirty and digging in the weeds and then getting to watch something beautiful grow as a mentor, as in a mentorship relationship. I graduated from Indiana University Bloomington in 3 years. I have a degree in criminal justice, which is formerly forensics. I have nearly a second degree in psychology while working throughout. Just needed 2 more classes, but I refused to take rat lab. So I ended up without a second degree. But in hindsight, with criminal justice being the study of norm violating behavior, psychology being the study of human behavior, and I love sociology, which is the study of group behavior. Yeah, that's kind of, I think, how I ended up in a service and the criminal justice system in terms of serving people, not actually, a participant of the system per se, luckily. But anyway, yeah, throughout the years, I've also had the opportunity to support sales teams. I've sold telecom systems for 2 different companies. One was actually before there were actually automated attendants. So, back in the day when company owners were like, well, I don't want folks to talk to a machine. I want them to talk to people. And here we are, getting back to talking to people after talking to machines all these years. But anyway, I've also sold and produced video communications for 3 different companies, 2 full-time, and then 1 as an independent sales rep. I've sold retail. I've managed a large regional capital campaign. I've been an ad agency account executive where I served a regional bank, a local university, and a hospital system, and have been a strategist for an SEO link building company. So yeah, got lots on the, I have a long elevator speech, but I'm working on it. I've also had the opportunity to co-found a makerspace and create and execute 6 of 140 maker fairs held globally. I don't know if I'm not sure, a maker fair, if you're not familiar with it, is an event. It's the world's greatest show and tell, if you will. And it's an event for makers who are those people who are, I describe them as people who want to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to solve a problem, and they have to solve it no matter what. But those folks come together at maker fairs to share what they know and to share with the public and to create new forms of creating, if you will. Super fun event, love doing it, and hope to create a similar type project in the new community that I live in now, which is actually my original hometown. Also, for decades, I've talked about how words matter. However, just like in the justice system, it's all the intent, right? Well, what's imperative to keep in mind is that it's not just the words that matter, but that strategic intention matters. If there's anything I leave you with today, I hope it's that intention. So ExitZero was formed November 1st, 2001. I call it my personal Black Friday. It was the last day in October after 9/11 had happened the month prior. I was working for a video and event production company. And as you're aware, all the planes were grounded. Events across the nation were canceled. And myself and the other sales team were downsized, basically, so was out of work. The following Monday, I had an assignment. The previous Thursday, it turns out I had met a gentleman at an opening for his company, and a cocktail mixer, basically. Was standing at the bar chatting with him. He said that he wanted to do an event in the future, but because I was full-time employed, I wasn't able to help him at that time. Called him on Monday and said, hey, I was downsized on Friday, interested in working together. He green-lighted the relationship. I began ExitZero Communications with the first client of Latinos Count Community Summit after being out of work less than one day. So I'm very, very fortunate in that regard. And part of why I haven't had a website up to now, because frankly, I've always been blessed to be able to choose who I worked with based on what they were contributing to the community or their purpose or passion or whatever. So I've been very fortunate in that regard. Another fun fact is that I absolutely adore my dogs. So I had a little cockapoo, Bella, and last summer in the midst of COVID, my little dog was stolen out of my yard. And it was pretty bad time, I gotta say, because she was out of my sight for 7 minutes or less, and she disappeared. And I just was a wreck. And then 28 days later, I came home and saw the postman was writing me a note on the curb. And I'm like, what are you doing? And the short version is he found my dog 1 block and 7 houses over from my house. So 28 days later, my little dog came home. People said, Jane, we told you that that dog just ran away because you didn't have her leashed in the yard. And I said, well, if she did, she got a coat and a collar that said mommy's cool pup. So we think what happened is someone found her, thought she might have been a runaway or whatever, because she didn't have a collar on at the time. And ultimately they took her home and found out she was such a great dog. They tried to keep her. She probably ran away and went to the neighbors and got out. So anyway, that was a big part of my life. I mean, she's with me every day. I've worked out of my home over 20 years. And so I really missed that dog. So then when she came home, I mean, it was so exciting. We even had an article being prepared by a news or a media outlet because they wanted to tell the happy story of the dog being returned. Several months went by, and unfortunately, I lost her again. This time for permanently. So of course, I was disappointed and sad. Then a few months ago, I was able to bring home another little soul to my house. Her name is Billy. She's named after my dad because I didn't have the chance to name kids in my life. So I named my one kid after my dad, my little cockapoo. And you'll see lots of her coming up in various projects or products or whatever through my website or in different things that I do here at ExitZero. Love my dogs. So also want to do a special shout out to the team who's been making it happen for me. I have mentioned, I think Sage Event Management. They are truly the virtual leader in virtual event production. They started out as a traditional video company, just like I worked for years ago. And then with COVID, they did their own pivot and created an event that they could teach themselves how to produce virtual events and then how to teach them. And they work with folks like Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi and Jamie Ling Kerma, leaders in the entrepreneur, thought leader, coach, author categories. So Barry, thank you so much. Blue, Melnick, Chuck, and Chelsea from Sage. Thank you again for helping me build the blueprint for my personal purpose-driven payday, which is again, teaching the tools and techniques inside the art and science of profitable and productive event management. Also want to thank Blue, again, Blue Melnick, Grant Whitehead, and Heather for building Obvio. It's a platform that they are creating in tandem with Zoom. And it's basically a way for attendees to have, event attendees to have a better user interface for virtual events. And as a founding member and beta user, I'm just super excited because I know it's going to make life much easier for we event producers. And it's also going to make the events more successful because there's greater engagement by the participants. It allows for custom dashboarding and all these other cool things. So we'll learn more about that as time goes on. But again, thanks to Blue and Grant and team for working on that product for us. Also want to thank my Friday Mastermind cohorts, Deborah Sweet of Thrive Right Consulting and Sweet Marketing. She's been trying to wrangle me through brand consulting and my website design. And even though I do brand consulting, it was really hard for me to do it for myself. I suck as a client. And because I've been the cobbler's daughter all these years and not had a website, I was lucky enough to find Deborah and to work with her because she truly does know marketing. She does know branding. She knows web design. And between our two skill sets, we've, I think, become a very, very strong team. Also want to thank Sheila Farraher, Gemma. She's the founder of Connected Sponsors and my favorite sponsorship queen. She's helped me remind me that my knowledge of sponsorship practices is really sound, but that I can always seek improvement. Right? We can always learn. I love to learn and I love to share what I learned. So part of why I'm doing this whole project. Ben Corey Feldman, thank you so much. Ben is an interactive live entertainer and persuasion coach. He's a magician and he speaks to also, the mindset of persuasion in people and, the magic can help with that. But it's about, people understanding the value of the products that you offer and giving them value proposition rather than just selling something, right? And that's my goal. I want to provide products that and programs that are going to add value to my clients, not just create income, because that's just never been my model. That's not who I am. Anyway, also want to thank Joe Durango Savage Torres. He's shot my promo video that you'll see on the website if you haven't had a chance to check it out. That's at www.businesseventpro.com. And the first day we shot that, it was like 10 degrees outside with wind chill. And I was so horrible as the talent that I'm like, dude, do you mind if we cancel this and do it another day? And he's like, yes. So we were thrilled. And then I ended up doing okay the next time out. But it's funny when the red light goes on, like even today, I turn into a different person. When that camera goes live, it is hard to remember who you are sometimes. And Joe helped me do that. Darren Lee Harrison also helped me do that. Darren has been here recently. He helped me set up my studio, which still needs some tweaking. I'm still working on some connectivity and some upgrading some tools for a better experience for you, the viewer and listener. Yeah, Darren, he was here. He shot some promos. He is going to be a podcast guest. Actually, my next podcast, Darren's going to be on. We're going to be talking about his experience as an artist, actor, singer, writer, director, producer, editor, character, and now realtor. So I'm so excited to talk to Darren. We haven't talked for a long time, or we worked together for 10 years. Then about 10 years, we were competitors. Then for about 10 years, our lives went different directions. And here we are again, circling back and reconnecting over production and storytelling and helping others do better at what they do. So thank you, Darren, for all your help and reminding me. I know this business quite well. I just had forgotten because it's been a couple of years since I worked in video. Also want to thank Melanie Collins. She's a high school friend. We connected, believe it or not, at a class reunion last summer. And it turns out she is a really good stylist to the would-be star. So she is not responsible for the look today for those of you who are seeing me visually. But you'll see her work in various projects and products moving forward. So thank you, Melanie. Appreciate your work and love reconnecting. Pam Elliott, thank you for your design work. Walt Hale for last minute photos for the site, for being a true artist and partially inspiring my love of all things art. Thanks, bud. And a special shout out to my friends from the fort, Aubrey, Mary, Kev, and of course my family, for strategic input, moral support, inspiration, for just being you. Thank you so much. Also want to thank all those people who told me no along the way. If it wasn't for them, I might not have the grit to have moved forward and to be here today sharing the story with you and perhaps helping you move forward in your positive professional and personal life stories. Finally, I want to thank Leapers. You know who you are. The Leapers inspire me every day. They give support. They provide confidence. If there's any questions that need to be answered, they're there for me. And again, LEAP is the name of the program, the mentorship program with Sage. And if I have any questions about anything, whether it be technical or about audio and how it could be better used, or anything about not only virtual or live events or marketing, that there's people there for me. So I have this great, huge network to get support from and to add value to you as we move forward. So thank you, Leapers. I'm excited to get my lives going and to show you what I can do. I've been secretly kind of sitting on the sidelines, listening and learning. Well, pretty soon you'll see. Yeah, I'm excited about where this is all going to go. So, friends, this is a short show today. Again, it's been about me, and as you heard me say, I hate the words I and me, but I feel are the necessary evil for us to be we. But we definitely want your feedback about the show. And we also hope that you would like more information about how ExitZero can help you get the edge, right? By creating events from concept to execution, or consulting and creating events with you, or helping you learn how to create your own business event or personal outcomes, personal success outcomes. We want to be there and help you lead the way. Make sure we have your contact information at businesseventpro.com. And, because we want to make sure that you know what's going on. And pretty soon we will, I'll stop using Facebook on my social or my personal side and migrate everything over to the business. So to business social pages. So my friends and family can get a break on what I'm doing business wise, but not for you. And maybe ExitZero isn't for you. Totally fine. There's so many that I've worked with who know so much more than I do. But I know that you know at least one person who could benefit from what I've learned the hard way. And that's by doing it for many years. So please pass on this info and you too can change it forward. So again, if you or someone you know wants to grow event revenue or membership or sales or be more profitable in some other way, well, visit businesseventpro.com. because there's definitely more coming down the pike. In fact, a series of video modules is in the works, and we'll soon be announcing dates for my first live virtual event on the art and science of creating profitable events. We have another show scheduled next Wednesday, so tune back in to Business Event Pro to check out Applegate's EDGEcast, episode 2. And in the meantime, make sure we have your deets so you can get the edge and Jane it forward. But until then, just remember, strategic intention matters. Ciao for now from Jane and Applegate's EDGEcast. Thanks and have a great day.